Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Summit EU coverage here from the Beyond the Summit studio. I'm Zyori, solo in the studio for now, but I am joined remotely by my co-caster Hippie. We've got our second match of 3 coming up here, Power Rangers versus Rox.kis, and right after this game will be Power Rangers versus MYM. We had a little 2-hour break there. Well, there was nothing little about it, but we had a 2-hour break, and now we're back. The gauntlet of Power Rangers will continue, and our draft is already underway. Chris, what's the good word here coming into our second match of the day?
Man, I'm fired up. This is definitely going to be the best match of the day. If both these teams play up to their maximum potential, because Rox, what are they, 2-1 right now in group for this tournament? They're playing out of their minds. And Power Rangers, they just showed us how strong they can play.
Mm-hmm.
I love both of these teams. They're so much fun, and I think both of them, despite the fact that they're coming more into the limelight, still don't get the credit they deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. And we mentioned last game that Power Rangers now have Scandal on their roster, so they are a little bit more powerful than they were before the Scandal pickup when they were still running ZXC. And in the context of this draft, we saw in Game 1, Scandal played a mean Invoker, Quasplex in the mid lane, and he just made it rain. So many kills, so many assists, and just controlled that game left and right. We talked about Centaur a little bit in the last game. It's just like, well, if you ban out the Invoker, who do you let through? And we suggested Centaur as a viable option. And here in this match, Power Rangers will actually first pick the Centaur and hand over Scandal's Invoker to Rox.kis. So I guess I'll take that as a sign to mean they value the Centaur more than Invoker, which is kind of hard to imagine, based on the results of that first game, I mean.
Yeah, Scandal's Invoker is pretty terrifying. I don't know precisely how good Power Rangers does with the Centaur. I haven't really seen them do that recently, but hey, they get the Centaur and the Dazzle. That's a nasty, nasty mid-game combination.
Yeah.
Just throwing that Centaur in. Obviously, you get the Stampede, you get the Stomp, which is such an incredible stun, for the mana cost.
Mm-hmm.
And then all that double-edged damage you can throw out, be very, very stable with the Dazzle, be very, very safe, Poison Touch to help them chase people down. Those two alone can dominate your average couple of heroes they'll run into. So when they add one more support and they're doing 3-man roams in the mid game, this already looks really dangerous to me.
Yeah, and good choice from Rox.kis to second pick the Shadow Demon. Even if they didn't pick him, they could have banned him out in this next phase. But Shadow Demon, Dazzle, Centaur is a ridiculous killer tri-lane. Even though Centaur is usually your off-lane hero, you can put him in a killer tri-lane, and I don't even know how you deal with it. Disruption, easy hoof stomp, you heal bomb, double edge if you need to, and if there's any hero that can survive that assault, I'd like to meet them because it is a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. So we'll see what they do with these next few bans here. Mirana banned out by Power Rangers, so they can't pair her with the Shadow Demon. And Rasta banned by Rox.kis. Always a smart ban. I always like to go back to that stat about Rasta on Dire. He has an absurdly higher win rate because of that Roshan control.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as it was for the one patch when he could just solo him with the wards, but
yeah,
still very, very good.
A little much.
I think he's a little bigger in the Eastern scene still. I know he gets a little bit of play here, but if I recall correctly, he still gets some mid play from Mushi on occasion, doesn't he? I think Mushi is probably the only one who still goes for that.
Not that I've seen, but that doesn't mean he doesn't do it.
Maybe I'm incorrect.
I haven't seen that much DK recently. I barely got to watch them in Star Ladder, and I've casted them once or twice in WPC. They haven't really played too many games yet this season. But, yeah, it's semi-viable. Sort of.
Depends on what you're up against. Not against.
Yeah, it's one of those strats that it can work, but you have to use those wards right. You have to knock down towers. It's all about timing, and most teams don't really like that stress of, being on that timer of we have to knock towers down because Rasta will fall off. Right around that 30-minute mark is when he falls off, man. He doesn't scale that well.
Yeah, I'd argue he has better scaling than a lot of supports thanks to the wards. But,
yeah,
then
a lot of supports
got kind
as
of
an
early game
though.
window and then a late game window when he gets a little bit more farm. But the Scandal TA, that's another hero he is hugely, hugely dominant on. He's kind of a legend on this guy. He's up there with Ferrari, Dandy TA. Scandal is, there's a reason it's his profile picture right there,
Yeah.
I do worry a little bit because if I remember right, Solo tends to play an Exort Invoker, and having the Forged Spirits to chip through the refraction is going to make her somewhat less effective, as well as, of course, if he does go Exort, having that bonus damage will make it much harder for TA to just control the lane for free. On the other hand, the Sideblades will give her that kind of same stable harass that the Kunkka had in the previous game, that Quas, maybe he wants to go Quas just to try and stabilize himself against that and keep his hit points up. You don't know.
Yeah. And you never know. Rox.kis could try and pull a curveball here. Now that they've picked Luna, this is a little bit more safe. Their only option to get that Invoker away from the TA is do an aggro try with another aggressive support here, put Invoker in the safe lane, and then pick up something like a Viper for that mid and give TA a run for her money. But I don't know that Rox.kis will be looking to switch things up that much.
No, I think they'll just deal with it. It's not like Invoker gets crushed by TA. It's just she's
Yeah.
going to do pretty well too, and you have to just assume. I mean, if you're Rox.kis, I think betting on Solo to make big plays and make it worth like just giving him kind of an even kind of toss-up lane, you can put a lot of money on Solo. He's a very, very strong player. You can put more than $322 on Solo.
Yeah. You think Solo 1v1 Shadow Fiend, Scandal versus Solo? Solo would take that?
Oh, that's a tough one. Solo is
Yeah.
good. Scandal is amazing too. But just,
Yeah,
I
I don't
mean,
know. I'm not sure who would
if
win
I
that.
pick my playmakers though for Rox.kis, I mean, you remember for a while they really hit a tough spot, and it was because that was the time when Solo was still banned from tournaments because of the betting scandal. Now, as soon as he came back in, look at their rise to the top. The man is a playmaker.
Mhm.
Say what you want about his past.
Yeah, say what you want, but you're right. He is definitely a pretty big playmaker these days. It will be Sand King as the second support for Rox.kis, a support that they love in the East. In WPC, man, Sand King is first pick material almost every game. And out here in the West, he still gets a little bit of love, but not quite as much as he does over there in China. Now,
Flogged loves.
I'm curious how they'll run this Sand King. If they just sandstorm it up in the jungle, get those stacks up, and let him farm. That's really where in the East they like him. They make Sand King a core and just give him priority in the jungle. And I mean, we've even seen like level 9 epicenters with Sandstorm as the primary over Burrow Strike. Completely passive, just sitting in the jungle. Maybe rotates into the lane for a Burrow Strike here or there, but it's all about getting up that fast blink dagger.
I think you have enough ganking potential with the Shadow Demon that he's going to be rotating some in the early game. But I mean, they're going to be running a defensive try line. They're going to have the Shadow Demon trying to zone out the Centaur as best as possible. Of course, return making that a little hard. But yeah, I do think Sand King will be spending a decent amount of time farming, trying to get himself some fast items and just, letting Shadow Demon handle the wards, dust, smoke. But if they don't do something like rotate on that TA or try to get the Centaur early, I'll be very, very surprised because they have a pretty solid set of supports for getting pickoffs.
Yeah, and I do like this fourth pick for Power Rangers, their second support, Lion, to go with the Dazzle. A great pairing between those two. Dazzle doesn't have much burst damage, but he has a lot of utility. And Lion, well, he's got a lot of burst damage and 2 hard disables once he gets a Blink Dagger. That instant cast hex makes for a really potent initiation. So a pretty well-rounded draft from Power Rangers, just kind of across the board here. I'll be curious what they do with this last pick. Presumably someone for a tri-lane, but the sky's the limit. Rox.kis ban out Doom, and I think that's just about as good a ban as any here at this point. Really hard to guess what they're going to grab.
Yeah, I mean, The Doom would be particularly good. I mean, both the Luna and the Invoker have big problems against the Doom, and if you take out either of those, then you have like the potential for some really aggressive stuff with the Centaur on the TA. So you have a lot of mid game as well as kind of. So say you have Doom in the mid game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knock out the Invoker with the Doom, and then the Luna isn't particularly farmed, and you can just run a train for the first 15, 20 minutes of the game, and the Luna will never get anywhere because she'll get destroyed.
Yeah.
So I think the Doom is actually almost a perfect ban right there. As it is, I would. If it wasn't for the Shadow Demon, I'd think about a Lifestealer. Because they have kind of this mid-game strength he'd fit into very nicely. They've got a couple of heroes that are going to have speed, that are going to have blink. They'd be able to move him around.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of magic there, but you have to worry about that Demonic Purge kiting him out. So I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, it really depends on how aggressive Power Rangers want to be. They have the option here where they can grab another hard carry, and paired with that TA, they can go very late game and just outgreed the Luna, or they could grab something here like a Nyx Assassin, who will actually be their mid hero. Ooh, no, pardon me. He will be their off laner.
Position 1 Centaur.
And then a Moon Centaur. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So, but this was their other option. Take a more mid-game oriented hero, another stun, and be a lot more aggressive and just try and shut this Luna down before she really comes online. They will choose the latter. And I'm excited to see Nyx Assassin. That gives them a lot of crowd controls now. And as long as Scandal does at least okay in the mid lane, maybe Rox.kis will put a lot of pressure on him. If they gank him a few times, then this PR strategy could kind of fall apart. But if Scandal has a good time, then I think they'll be in great shape.
You think the pressure is definitely on PR to execute. If the game goes just kind of average toss-up back and forth, why is Solo on Luna?
Yeah, both sides actually doing things a little differently here. It almost looks like, is Moon going to be mid on the Centaur?
Well, I mean, I've seen BZC play
out?
the Invoker plenty, and that's fine. It's just I presumed he was going to do a Luna, but I guess they're doing a mid Luna, which I haven't seen in. God, I don't even know.
Yeah,
That's like
Samesies.
something I haven't seen since I was playing in like pub trenches, and I would do that to train on people. But like, it's not something we see a lot just because she's so gankable. And against this lineup, that's a really big risk. There's a
Yeah.
lot of good early rotation potential from the Lion, from the Nyx, from the Dazzle, from the Centaur. Anyone can come into this lane and fight Luna. It's not a problem. And
Yeah.
she's so squishy and vulnerable.
Yep, that's her biggest problem. You're exactly right. The solo experience is good, and if she goes left unchecked, the solo mid Luna can be pretty scary, but I doubt PR will just let her farm to her heart's content. And I mean, Centaur versus Luna in the mid lane, based on these drafts, I
They're doing
never
a dual
would have
mid, are
guessed
they?
that would be the matchup. But
Are they doing a solo Invoker against the Nyx and then dual mid Goblak and then jungling the Sand King? Is that what's
maybe.
going on here? But there's also like there's almost a dual mid thinking about maybe coming out of PR right here. Because FNG is right here. Maybe he's just checking the rune.
Well, we'll see in just a moment. But let's introduce these rosters. On our Radiant side, we do have Team Rox.kis, and it will be BZZ playing on the Invoker. Right now slated for the safe lane. In the mid, we've got Go Black on the Shadow Demon and Solo on the Luna. It will be a dual mid. They have the Sand King in the jungle for now, picked up that 0-0 rune. It is a double damage, and he will be played by Yol, and actually might be going for a potential first blood on Cheshire Cat. No Impale available. He's already used it. Burrow Strike online, and Cheshire Cat, I think he'll take a spill. This should be your first blood coming out. Oh, a two-man
Double
impale. They line it up, and he knocks him down. That's not a first blood. That's a Scarab scooting back to safety. Well played by Cheshire Cat. And in the top
That
lane, it
came
is
up just in
Sedoy playing
time.
on the off-lane Clockwork.
I was just barely off cooldown right there. You got
Yeah.
it just in time.
Wow.
Well timed, well played, and just they got a little bit overconfident with that TD rune and just let themselves be lined up for that. I think they probably could have gotten that kill if they'd been a little bit more careful, but at the same time, it's a hard thing to prep for at
Yeah.
times, especially when you know you need to get every single last auto attack to have a chance of finishing him.
Yeah, I think if he hadn't hit the Invoker... yeah, Sand King had a double damage, so if he had just hit one of them, I think he still would have died. But the double Impale was enough to keep him alive, and well executed. Now on the dire side, we do have Team Power Rangers. They're mighty and they're morphin'. It will be Cheshire Cat in the off lane. We've already seen his Nyx Assassin. FNG on the Dazzle in the mid. He'll be supporting this Centaur, played by Moon. Generally, their position 1 player. So this should be a pretty farmed Centaur throughout this game. Up in the top lane, it'll be a safe lane TA played by Scandal. And he will be joined by J4 on that Lion. And whoa, what is this Lion cosmetic? He's got a third eye. Jeez, I've never seen that thing before, but it's creepy.
It's pretty hardcore. The gazing eye of the demon witch.
That is
Both
seriously
short and long horn styles.
next level.
Check it out at your Dota shop today.
So how are these lanes looking here? Centaur 8-1 against the 8-3 Luna in the mid, so it seems this duo lane mid matchup is about break even on both sides of the fence. And uh-oh, Yol, he'll get scouted out here. Cheshire Cat just snipes one of his big ogre last hits there, but not much will be able to come out of it. In terms of the position ones, there are basically your Invoker and your TA here. Invoker 11-1, TA 9-8, so still pretty even across the board, but it looks like Rox.kis are starting to pull ahead in the initial phasing stage of this matchup. And actually, Clockwork, wow, Sedoy 7-1 compared to the 2-0 Nyx Assassin. Sedoy just about to hit level 4, and Cheshire Cat, he's still level 1. That's probably the biggest disparity. And now, Cheshire Cat, he gets cold snapped. Another nice Impale buys him some time, but Forge Spirits are out, and of course, that means Exort Invoker coming out from BZZ.
Yeah, and top lane has just almost zero kill potential against a well-played Clockwork. Between the cogs and the battery assault, he should never die, even if J4 lands like an initial stun or something, just because Scandal's range is so terrible until he gets the later levels in Sideblades. Oh, they're going to make a liar out of me.
Yeah, we'll see if you're right here. Hex to follow up, and nope, they'll have plenty of damage to finish him off. There's your first blood, a.k.a. Get Wrecked, Hippie. Ouch.
You walked right in as I'm saying that. I'm just like, all right, you literally just walked into the middle of an entire creep line. You're not ready to cog. Oh, God.
I mean, to be fair, what your point holds. A well-played Clockwork that's a little more conservative, doesn't just walk up to the creep wave like that, shouldn't really die against this duo lane. I would chalk that up to a pretty big misplay from Sedoy, just getting a little bit cocky. But, yeah, an unfortunate first blood from the perspective of Rox.kis. And it was Lion who got the bonus gold, so not the worst-case scenario. At least TA didn't grab all that money, but she did find a little bit of room to farm now, and she's tangoing for the top on that last hit board.
Yeah. It still leaves him decently ahead of the next assassin, though, which is good. He's still like a level and a half ahead. He's definitely getting more gold. He's got his boots already and the shield, whereas there's just the boots sitting on the next assassin. So he's going to be a little bit more stable in the lane. He's still got some regen left, too. But here's the gank mid with the Invis rune.
Yep, he actually did smoke up to grab the rune as well. So even though Rox.kis have vision of this bottom rune, I'm not sure that they really noticed. They may have seen that it was an
They have
invisibility,
to know
but
the invis is missing.
yeah, I want to say that they do, but it was a pretty
Oh,
cheeky play. There's the Impale to start things off. Poison Touch actually comes out onto Solo. They'll still have plenty of damage to bring down the Shadow Demon, but FNG, he had a different target in mind. He actually has 2 points in Poison Touch here. We'll hit level 4 and finally grabs Grave, but still, they grab a kill, and that makes it 2-0 here to get things started. Power Rangers off to the races, and they've already secured a very small 500 gold lead.
yeah, just that could have actually probably been a double kill. Cheshire Cat, you saw him winding up the Impale the first time. He had 2 in his sights, but he thought he wasn't going to get him, so he canceled it. And then the second time he got it, he just got the Shadow Demon. So a little bit unfortunate for Power Rangers. They probably could have gotten a bit more out of that. But at the same time, the space that this Invoker has had is just fantastic. The TA is doing just as well, of course, but the Nyx...
And up
Nyx
top,
doing very, very little to get
speaking
much
of
done.
TA, J4 walks away with 10 hit points. He will get finished off by the Clockwork with one last rocket flare, but TA gets a counter kill. And that's one that PR will be happy to trade. Line for Clockwork all day, especially if the TA will be the one picking up that last hit. Also a solo kill for TA, so that's now level 6 out on Scandal.
He's just getting so aggressive against... I mean, you know, I say he shouldn't die, but oh, here we go in mid.
Yep, Shadow Demon starts off the initiation on Moon. Shallow Grave comes off. Very well timed. J4 rotates in as well. Impale only connects with one, but it's enough to separate the forces of Rox.kis, and it keeps their Moon alive. Sunstrike will be off the mark. A close call, but the Centaur survives. So this gank from Rox.kis will be rendered unsuccessful, and Sand King, he'll just trot his way back into the jungle. Look at this. He's already level 5.
It's just the power of the hero right now.
Mhm.
And he's not maxing the Sandstorm over the Burst Strike or anything, which I like. I mean, they've got such an active lineup like I was talking about. He needs to be rotating, making things happen, and that's exactly what he's doing. But that doesn't mean he can't take advantage of this, you know, somewhat ridiculous jungling ability for support.
Yep. It's true. And so Rox.kis, they're off to kind of a slow start, but Luna is still doing okay here in the mid lane. She's at about 2K in terms of net worth, and TA now 50% up on her. She's broke that 3K mark, and that kill has not only given her a little edge in golden experience, but now Clockwork just has lost his lane presence. He's finally hit level 6, so he'll rotate mid, looking for a hook shot gank perhaps, but TA just has so much space. Absolute free farm mode, pushed up to the tower, and there's just no one challenging her. Sudoi will rotate back up towards the top lane, but I worry for Rox.kis a little bit based on the momentum this TA has picked up out of the gate.
Well, I mean, you got to remember that PR should be winning the early game. I mean, they have probably the stronger laning heroes. They have probably the stronger mid game. I mean, just thanks to the fact that they have a much more aggressive lineup. They should be getting a couple more kills. It's if this TA starts to rotate and just kill everybody, that's when I start to get worried. But watching her win her lane and like get a couple
Down
kills.
Smoke from the 2 supports. Hex to start things off. Exort Invoker nowhere to go. Has no Ghost Walk, and, well, that's a pretty easy 3v1. Nyx Assassin gets his first kill of the game.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's the power of that next rotation. And the smokes and the aggressive lineup, they're going to be getting a lot of kills. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Rox needs to... First of all, they need to have some darn wards up. Even with smokes coming out, they've got nothing.
Yeah, they don't have a
They
single
have no
ward
map
down.
vision whatsoever.
Wow. Well,
Yes,
all right,
no.
they have a sentry in the mid lane, to be fair, but, yeah, no
There's-
observer wards.
Level 6 on Nyx Assassin is now out.
And
So
2
that
observers
just
are
added
coming
a
on the
lot of
courier to
potential.
go black, so he'll help deal with this here momentarily, I think.
I mean, they just went down. It's 8 minutes into the game. But at the same time, you got to be... When you're playing against this aggressive of a lineup, you cannot afford to have like a minute of no board coverage.
Yeah. It's true. And Rox.kis are actually doing a good job finding better experience, and a lot of that is coming from the Sand King. He's still in the jungle, having his do-do-do dance party. Does grab the epicenter at level 6, but he's just farming away. That's opened up a little more efficiency in the lanes, and Moon is actually, I don't want to say under-leveled, but he's not very high-leveled either. He's about to hit level 6, but still no Stampede. That's when PR can really turn up the aggression. Haste Rune is on Luna, will just now expire, and now they'll initiate as soon as it goes off. Hook shot forward from the Clockwork, Grave out on Moon. The defensive disruption enough to keep Solo alive, but Sudoi, he'll have to play the Sacrificial Lamb. Eclipse from Solo, finishes off the Dazzle and the Centaur, and Rox.kis, they make it a 2-0 the other way in the mid lane. Great team support, and that defensive disruption, there's just no way to deal with it. But all the while, TA was just farming up top. So even though it's a 2-0, still good for Rox.kis. Not the worst case scenario for PR, as their TA is still picking up steam.
Man, just on top of that defensive disruption, what an excellent set of cogs. That was really, really well timed from Sudoi. If he'd missed either of those heroes, They probably would have been able to finish off Solo. They wouldn't have gotten the Eclipse off. They probably wouldn't have gotten nearly as many kills. They certainly wouldn't have gotten the Dazzle. They may have still gotten the Centaur just because he was getting beat up on already.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That was a really, really great turnaround from Rox. And if they have these strong defensive abilities, stuff like Burrow Strike, stuff like, later in the game, if the Invoker's rotating through, he has stuff like Cold Snap. He's got the Forge Spirits in play, the Cogs, the Disruption, just stuff that makes it hard to go in on people. And when you have this kind of PR lineup, if you have your movement restricted that badly, or if you have your timings thrown off, it becomes a serious problem.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And following that skirmish, both sides picking up some big items. There's now a Blink Dagger on the Sand King at the pre-10-minute mark. That is damn impressive. He's also level 8. And like you were mentioning, that's just the power of the hero on this current patch. He will smoke up and rotate towards the mid lane. There's also a Hand of Midas up on the Invoker, so he'll start to close that gap against the TA rather quickly here. TA did not go for a Hand of Midas. Instead, has picked up an early Blink Dagger herself to go with the Phase Boots. And
Epi channeling middle.
Yep, here it is. Hops forward onto Moon. Plenty of damage to finish off the Centaur. Dazzle just not close enough. That level 1 Grave has too long of a range. Hook shot flies off the mark. Yol will get chased down by the supports. He gets hexed, poison touched, and yeah, plenty of damage to bring him down. That makes it a 1-for-1. Sand King for Centaur. A trade going the way of Rox.kis, but sort of a wash. I guess the supports getting the kill isn't really ideal for PR, but ends as a 1-for-1. And
Yeah, I mean, I'll
go
give
black.
it to Rock.
He'll get impaled. Mana burn. There's your level 3 poison touch. The defensive disruption buys him some time, but TA just hovering nearby. There's your meld strike, and down goes Go Black. I like this Dazzle build, though. Level 6 with the weave. 3 points in poison touch. This is aggressive.
I mean, when you're playing with a Centaur, you better be.
Yep. That's how I like my Dazzles. Aggressive in
Yeah,
pink.
The TA's already rotating. She's gone for the blink, so you know that they just want to kill, 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 kill. There's nothing else this lineup does.
Yeah. Now, Luna will rotate to the bottom lane, looking to find a little bit of farm for herself. Has Power Treads, Aquila, Bottle, and Magic Wand right now. Picks up a TP scroll at the side shop there. But no Hand of Midas, so Solo's farm is a little bit lackluster right now. He is at about 4K, number 3 on the net worth chart, but still pretty far behind that of the TA. The mid lane did not really translate well in terms of farm for him. He did okay, but not amazing. Not like Scandal's free farm. And Scandal actually just retreat back towards the top lane. Sodoi comes in, stops that Blink Dagger with a Rocket Flare, but doesn't throw the hook shot. And with Sand King inbound, smart play from Scandal to back out because they have more than enough damage to finish her off. That Battery Assault works wonders against the power of the Refraction.
Absolutely. I really think that the biggest problem for PR is going to be because they want to group up so badly, this very early Blink Dagger on the Sand King is a real problem. Because Luna doesn't need to be in most of these fights. She can just TP and throw an Eclipse if she really feels like she needs to be there. You have BZZ who can either be there with his 4 spirits. He's doing some split pushing right now. Or he can just throw Sunstrikes to be effective and burst someone down. And then the Clockwork and the Shadow Demon already making things tough for them to push into with the Cogs and the Disruption, as we've been mentioning. There's going to be a lot of chances for, if PR is grouping up somewhere, Solo and BZD to just be elsewhere on the map, and the strength of the Epicenter and the Clockwork and just one possible TP has to be enough to deter PR from trying to make anything happen.
Yeah.
So they're going to have real problems finding engagements that they can take safely, finding towers that they can take safely, and they're just going to get chipped away at for a while, I feel. So they need to make something happen. If it has to be smoke, if it just has to be catching someone out, there's so much pressure on them for the next maybe 5 to 7 minutes to execute well, or they're just going to get zoned out of the game before it starts.
Yeah, and already Rox.kis are pulling ahead in terms of gold. They're behind in hero kills, but about an 1,800 gold advantage, 3,000 experience going their way. But there's your big item pickup. That's a Blink Dagger on Centaur. And we haven't seen too many Stampedes this game, if any. But now with these double Blink Daggers on Power Rangers, if they can't make some plays happen now, then I'm not sure they'll ever be able to make the big plays happen in this game. Maybe when Nyx Assassin gets his Blink, that'll help him out as well. But yeah, Rox.kis already starting to get the better of him, and they have the Midas advantage. Invoker has one out. Looks like Necro Book will be his item of choice, Staff of Wizardry, as well as a Belt of Strength. If you wanted to go Power Treads, could also just be Power Treads and then a Force Staff, but I think Necro Book is a bit more likely at this particular juncture as BZZ presses forward, and I think he will secure the first tower kill of the game. Yep, sure will. Tier 1 in the mid falls. Meanwhile, down bottom, Solo gets initiated upon by that Blink Dagger from Moon, burns the Eclipse, but there are just too many creeps nearby. And, well, actually, I spoke too soon. There are an appropriate amount of creeps nearby. Dazzle secures the kill on Luna because of the poison touch, but it's a 1-for-2. Going the other way as Sand King joins the party. Again, great rotations from Rox.kis.
What a beast of a stun from Yol. Perfectly timed. I mean, it's not that hard to catch two people with a stun when they're that close together, obviously, but just getting there at the exact perfect time, setting it up with a stun strike just to help finish people off, which I don't think actually did any damage because I think it hit a shallow grave and there was a dead hero. But at the same time, the coordination was there, the timing was there, the positioning was there, and even though they lost the Luna, that ends up being pretty solid because she got experience from both of those and assist gold.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. The poison ticking her down after they'd already died minimizes the losses from the Luna. And I didn't check to see if she bought her Ogre Club right before she went down,
She
but
did.
okay, so even had an opportunity to spend some of that unreliable gold before she got picked off. And at the end of the day, a really good trade for Rox.kis. And that's, I mean, there's your first Centaur gank. He revealed his Blink Dagger, and it was rendered unsuccessful. So that's always a good sign if you're up against that Centaur. Blade Mail, first item on the Clockwork, does come out, and there's your level 1 Necro book on the Invoker. So Rox.kis know what they want to do, and it's take a huge edge in this mid game. They'll be knocking down towers, and Luna just working on a BKB. Again, like you were mentioning, wants to grab items that allow her to have some presence in these team fights early on rather than just going that Ultra Greed, Midas, Helm of the Dominator kind of style and just sitting back and farming.
Honestly, wouldn't hate more of a split push build. Honestly, I would like her to pick up an early Yasha.
Uh-oh, in
But
the
I mean, I
bottom
would
lane.
almost
Hoof stomp forward onto BZZ. A huge epicenter from the trees. Invoker will be the first to go down, but that epicenter doing a lot of damage. Dazzle second to fall. Centaur dies, and it will be a 2-for-2 kind of mutual destruction here. But gosh, that epicenter was just so big and well placed. That's what she said.
You would. I should have known that was coming.
It was unintentional, but it was just too perfect. Scandal gets the deny
you're-
on the tower. Ooh, will they press forward here? No hook shot from Sadoy. Lucent beam, but nope, they'll just back out.
I do believe that I mentioned something about a Blink Epicenter being really good against teams grouping up like this, and that just they got destroyed right there. You can see it pulsing on 4 heroes. I mean, it's brutal enough to get like 2 or 3 heroes with that. Getting it on an entire fight in
Yep.
that particular manner, and it took them so long to bring down the Invoker because he's pretty tanky with that Necro book. He's got the +8 strength from that. It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
He's got the Quas, so he's got bonus strength from that. So he's sitting 1150 HP. At 16 minutes, that's really solid. They just can't bring him down fast enough. But if they don't, he's just going to sit there. Oh, man.
He's just
Decisions
high level
that PR
too.
have to make are it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, if you don't kill the Invoker, he's just going to be rotating spells and killing you. And if you do kill the Invoker, you've invested so much into it that you've eaten an entire Epicenter.
Yeah. And I am now, I was worrying for Rox.kis at first just based on the draft, but now I really worry for PR. They gave this Sand King way too much space. Now he has his Arcane Boots up, and I think a Veil of Discord will probably be his next item of choice, and that will be scary. There's plenty of other magic damage that will benefit from that. And then if things keep on, he'll eventually get an Ag Scepter, and then, well, I don't know what you do against that kind of an Epicenter. It is now level 2 as he is level 11. He's one of the highest levels in the game right now, tied with the TA Invoker and Luna as a, quote, support. But this is really more of a 4-core from Rox.kis, and Shadow Demon is the one playing the hard support here. And it's one of those strategies that's greedy, and if you get punished, you can fall behind. But if you get away with it, boy, is that mid-game scary. Oh, Solo in the bottom lane. Almost enough for a kill, but he'll turn on the Eclipse. Oh, as they all retreat. Rather unfortunate, but still, the team support is there. Scandal will get trapped inside the cogs. And oh, he is melded right now. They will put down a sentry. There's your Sunstrike, and ends up being a pretty easy kill. Luna actually gets credit for it. And, well, Shadow Demon as well as BZZ take out that top tier 1 tower. So just wins all over the map for Rox.kis here. Uh-oh, Epicenter from Yol. He'll blink forward. Dazzle, see you later. Burrow Strike, Epi, just way too much damage. J4 now being pursued by Sadoy. He'll get hexed, impaled. TP coming in. This is like the world's longest TP. There you go. Moon finally joining the party. Hops forward. Hoof stomp onto the blade-mailed Sadoy. There's your finger of death, but not enough to secure the kill. Yol trying to buy his buddy some time. Clockwork will eventually get picked off by the Nyx Assassin. And what an inopportune time for a pause. But BZZ is disconnected, so. Wow.
Yeah, it was that Sand King, man. You were mentioning, you know, kind of a greedy strategy, but at the same time, it's not like he built that greedy. He took the Epicenter when he needed to. He didn't max Sandstorm over Burrow Strike. He went for a build that let him be very active. But because he was both active and had farming space, because PR felt like they were kind of playing on the back foot, even though they were leading in kills for a bit, but a lot of that was from counter kills and counter pressure rather than them actually being able to rotate and take space away from Rox.kis. So it's wonderful because the Sand King, he's a jungling support. You know, he jungles very, very well, who can be effective without farms. So if you need him to rotate, he can. But when he gets farm, it's just that early blink dagger. We're seeing it be so devastating in this game. I don't
Yeah.
even think it's a risk to pick him and put him there. It's not like you're getting an Enigma who desperately
Right.
needs all those items. He still has this godlike stun. Burrow Strike is one of the best abilities in the entire game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a pseudo blink that's good damage, that's a long stun duration, and can hit like 3 or 4 people if you aim it really well, especially with a blink dagger.
Yeah. It's definitely a pretty ridiculous stun. And Yol has been so active, even though he spent a lot of time farming. 4, 2, and 3. 7 of the 10 kills on the board have involved Sand King in one way or another. But I think he's in some trouble here. He will move into the trees, but he doesn't have a TP scroll, so I'm not sure how he's going to make it out of this one. He may just want to buy his items and then cut his losses here.
Yeah, maybe we'll actually get to see what he's going for. He's sitting on 1,500 gold right now.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to just be a total troll and buy a Dagon.
You never know.
He's not going to, but it would be funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. A Dagon on Sand King is clowny, but, well, he's got the Null Talisman already, so, you know.
Yeah, but that could just be a veil, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
I really hope it's a veil.
I hope so, too.
At the same time, I secretly hope it's a Dagon.
Yeah, I can certainly empathize. Now, even though PR will get a kill on the Sand King, they have 2 members dead, and all 3 members that are alive are right now chasing down this Sand King. So if Yol can survive long enough, he might be able to buy enough time that Go Black and BZZ can just knock down another tower. They're already moving into this top tier 2. Necro units, only level 1, but they are already out. And with more Forge Spirits, oh no, okay, he's got some Forge Spirits out already. There is a glyph available, but they could do some pretty decent damage to this tier 2 tower.
Yeah. And that's he's got the level 2 Necro.
Oh, it's level 2. Oh,
yeah.
Well,
so he's got
but
4
would you look
trades,
at
he's got
that?
level 2 Necro. It's pretty brutal. And he's only 500 gold from having level 3 Necro. So you're going to have 18-minute level 3 Necro Midas on an Invoker that's got, you know, some pretty high level Forge Spirits, and you have so much pressure around the map. Like I said, the split push ability from both Luna and Invoker is crazy with this build. So they can be pressuring anywhere on the map, and then if PR tries to get a counter kill, they have to worry about, are we about to get epicentered? And it's happened twice now.
Yeah, and here we go. BZZ reconnects. I was just about to type, what's the deal here, guys? I'm not really an admin, but kind of an admin, because this is the summit. So, all right, here we go. Yol, oh, he'll get stunned right away, and it looks like his death may be a little more premature than he had hoped for. They'll even put down a sentry. That's a little unnecessary. Yeah, a centaur. He was going to hoof stomp anyway. Not sure you needed to burn a ward on that, but, well, that's okay. They secure the kill. The top tier 2 tower takes pretty hefty damage. They'll burn the glyph. Scandal TP's in. He gets cold snapped right away. Shadow Poison comes out, and, well, he'll just get repelled, and this tier 2 tower will fall. Not denied. Invoker gets the last hit. TA gets a little pick-me-up with some of those Necro units. But at the end of the day, Rox.kis, they come out ahead. Victories across the map once again. 75 hold, about 5,000 experience in their favor.
Well, he didn't buy it before he died, I don't think, but it is a Veil of Discord recipe for the Sand King.
Yep.
Oh, solo. Cheshire Cat doesn't have any mana to follow that up. That's so disappointing. He caught him with like 400 HP jungling. Now Stoi's just going to wreck him. No mana available.
What? Oh, okay, he
he
has
got
a
his
force
force
staff.
He just got his force staff.
Ooh.
Oh!
Sunstrike? Oh, see you later. Well done by BZZ. So he gets punished for that positioning there. And yeah, I hadn't realized he picked up a force staff. First I was like, what kind of trickery is this? How did he get out of the cogs?
Literally just got delivered by that courier.
Yeah, perfect timing. Arcane Boots, force staff. Not going for the blink, which is not surprising, but you see Nyx Assassins grab force, and they feel like the build-up for blink is a little difficult, so perhaps he makes the right call here as he does take an untimely spill. Uh-oh, Dazzle throws out the weave. They scout out Go Black, blink forward from Moon. There's your hoof stomp, double edge, but now Moon's very weak. He'll be forced back. Sunstrike does fly, but doesn't hit anybody on PR. Now Sidoi, he gets sheeped up. Could be in some trouble here, but in comes your Sand King. Burrow Strike still available, hasn't started channeling quite yet. They throw down a Sentry Ward right away, and now Yol, he's in retreat mode. Earn, negative charges on. Oh, trying to channel that epicenter, but it gets interrupted. And now he's just going to take a spill. Nicely done by J4 with the Hex. And, oh, tries to Burrow Strike to the low ground, but that Earth Spike, just a bit too much for him. Now, around the backside, Clockwork did finish off the Dazzle while we were watching that. And speaking of Clockwork, he'll try and TP out. Gets interrupted by Cheshire Cat. BZZ throws another Sunstrike. It's off the mark. Mana Burn does next to nothing, and Clockwork just walks away.
Yeah, it was just a cacophony of craziness. It was that entire engagement, things going crazy. He had the Centaur go in, and he's like, wait, I'm about to get sunstruck. I better turn around. Because you knew
Yeah.
he could see that coming.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, honestly, you want to talk the biggest story of why I feel PR is a little bit behind is that Centaur being level 9. Whereas the Luna he was laying against being level 12.
Oh, yeah.
And Centaur desperately needs level.
We'll see another fight break out here in the bottom lane at the tier 2 tower. They'll finish it off. Now the Eclipse comes from Solo. That's a dead Templar. Also a dead Dazzle. Invoker gets both of them. The Disruption on Moon. He's in full retreat mode, but no Stampede. And he'll actually get path blocked by J4 a little bit. I think he was going to fall anyhow, but Lion comes in, fingers the Shadow Demon. That sends him back to the well. And Invoker will get picked off by the Cheshire Cat. That makes it a 2 for 3. But still, Rox.kis find the better of it. And at the end of the day, they trade their support and Invoker for 2 cores on PR, the TA and the Centaur, as well as the Dazzle, and they got that tier 2 tower that wasn't denied. So, yeah, the gold graph still hopping in their favor, about 12,000 gold, and, oh, we've got a team fight recap here, and I think, needless to say, pretty overwhelming for Rox.kis. About 1K difference in gold farm, and actually, PR got a decent amount of experience out of that trade, but still, the tower really came into play.
Wish I could see that thing. Man.
Yeah, I can barely see it. I don't have it on my Dota. I have it on the preview monitor, which is far away, and these eyes aren't what they used to be, hippie, and the text is rather small.
We need to get a way to have like a program overlay running on casting computers too.
Yeah,
I would kill to
I
have
think
that
the Valve VAC thing will have a field day with
client
that.
injection. They
Yep.
might get mad at you.
They don't like it when you inject into their client, even if it's for the good.
Well, I mean, oh god, if only I don't know.
If only. You never know. You never know. The sky's the limit. Yeah, what I would like to see Valve implement, though, is our Rubik indicator. Too bad we haven't seen much Rubik, but in the big studio here, we've got that little Rubik pop out. Every time he steals a spell, it shows up on the little slider like an item. So I like that. It's easy, it's cool, and it really comes in handy. Sometimes you don't know what Rubik has, and you really should know.
So Luna Illusion just pushing top lane. Just kind of setting it up and forcing PR to rotate back to defend this, because otherwise they're going to have Siege hitting their baits. And mid lane now.
Cat, yeah, he'll get hook shotted, and the Cogs off the money. And the Grave will be enough to keep him alive. The Stampede as well, but Clockwork finishes him off with a Rocket Flare. They had the Sunstrike flying as well, but it is Sadoy who will guess right. Rox.kis find a 1-for-0 in the mid lane, and there is only one outer tower remaining for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They need to assemble this Megazord and make the defense of all defenses if they want to keep this tower alive. And no glyph. They'll just back out and turtle up in the base. And Rox.kis, they won't back up. They could probably get Roche here if they wanted, but instead they will go no holds barred, pressing on forward. And that's a level 3 Necro book, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it sure is. And this will be a hard defense for PR. They do have their glyph up, which is something, but Luna with all those bouncy glaives doing some work. Nyx Assassin down for another 5 seconds. There's your aggressive weave from Dazzle. And Rox.kis will play this a little bit more passively. Look at all this, the global presence almost taking down Dazzle. The Rocket Flare and Sunstrike takes him down to 200 HP.
Yeah, Sunstrike certainly doesn't hit for like 2/3 of his health pool or anything like that. That would be silly. Doesn't do like 400 pure damage
ridiculous. Yeah, Boots of Travel now up on the Invoker as well. So a little more map mobility. BKB coming for Sadoy. And there's your Veil of Discord for Sankang. He has it in the bank, just waiting for his turn to use the Courier. Forge Spirits scout out the high ground as Rox.kis posture around the Roche pit. And now they will feel the need to retreat. Ooh, the Impale off the mark from Cheshire Cat. Yol in the right place, connects with a 2-man Burrow Strike. Cheshire Cat gets caught in the cogs, and he'll survive again with 25 hit points to spare, but Clockwork says no, 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 and he'll finish him off with a Rocket Flare. Now FNG getting chased down by the Luna, and Sadoy joining the party as well. Lucent Beam, cogs are available, just trying to get in position. Sunstrike on the money. And BZZ adds another one to the scoreboard. That's a 2-for-0 outside the Roche pit. And now Rox.kis are just ripping the Power Rangers apart. They just ripped the arm off the Megazord and started beating him upside the head with it.
I didn't realize we were playing Titanfall with Megazords now.
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't watched enough Power Rangers recently. I only have so many Power Rangers similes that I can make here.
It's there's a kill animation in Titanfall where you rip off a robot's arm and beat it to death. Oh, initiation on Yol.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Roche has already fallen to the Radiant, and Yol will get dropped as Centaur comes in, but they burn the Finger, and they also burn the Stampede for that. Now Moon, he'll get purged, and that translates to an easy kill. I think they'll be okay with trading their Sand King for the Centaur. He still has his Epicenter, so that will harbor some of their teamfight presence for the next 30 seconds or so, but still, again, a great exchange for Rox.kis. Power Rangers have been finding kills around the map. It's not that one-sided, but every exchange just seems to have one little facet that is in the favor of Rox.kis. And now, all of a sudden, 15,000 gold, about 12,000 experience, and they have the Aegis. I imagine it's on the Luna. No, it's actually on the Invoker. Yeah.
But Solo's got his Manta coming out. So he's just really, really stacked right now. You have both. First of all, he's got more gold than the Midas Invoker, who's had Midas since like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, and that's kind of just a passive component of, hi, I'm Luna, I farm faster than everybody.
Oh, hey.
But, oh my god, look at all those item pickups. Force Staff on Shadow Demon, Manta on Luna, BKB on Clockwork. And BKBs, I mean, what do you do? Aside from TA, you don't have an answer to that.
Yep.
It stops everything on your entire team. And the TA, she's not really that much of an impact. She got that very early Blink Dagger, but the rotations just didn't really go their way a lot of the time when she was present.
Mm-hmm.
So she's sitting on Blink Dagger and an Ogre Club. She's gotten one item in the past 15 minutes.
Yeah, the item progression just isn't there. Go Black gets jumped on in the mid lane. They still have enough Blink Daggers to secure kills on squishy supports, and didn't even have time to react. Couldn't Force Staff, couldn't disperse or disrupt himself. And yep, well that's going to be about it. So Rox.kis, maybe the go ahead.
Dealt with now.
Huh?
Oh, just they knew there was a ward right there. It just got dealt with by the Sentry.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they since he got blinked on out of vision.
Well, there's your BKB on TA, but TA is basically the last hope for Power Rangers. Looking at the net worth chart, she is the only one in the top 5 for PR, and everyone except Shadow Demon on Rox.kis are in the top 5 in terms of net worth. So that is a pretty scary statistic, and only a BKB blink. Yeah, now Scandal can survive, but his damage output is just pretty lackluster.
See, if you had something like a Darkseer or like an Elder Titan, someone that can force them into a position where Psyblades is going to rip through an entire team. Oh, hook shot.
And Sunstrike to follow up. Moon, nowhere to go. And
Why did Stampede that?
I have no idea.
Oh, they're going in. They're going in.
You can't Stampede over the cogs. BKB used on Solo. He'll get disrupted. Scandal's BKB popped as well, and Solo gets off the Eclipse. Scandal still has the BKB on, will get graved up. Dazzle falls, but Solo is just going to chase him down. No way he'll survive this one. They even put down a Sentry Ward just in case. Refraction buys him a little more time, almost gets the return kill on Solo, but it will be a 3-0. No buybacks have been burned quite yet. Burrow strike forward onto Cheshire Cat. He will spike Carapace it. There's your finger onto Yol. Defensive disruption again, keeps him alive from the tower shots, and now J4, he gets cold snapped. Necro units coming in. Another nice impale from Cheshire Cat. It will be enough to keep his buddy, the Demon Witch, alive, but won't be enough to keep this mid lane of Rax alive. The Glyph will buy him a few more seconds. But, yeah, PR in big trouble, and they may be forced to tap out before too long here, Hippie.
Yeah, they're just being slowly kind of choked out of the game. Oh, they might get a kill right here, but it's just the Aegis.
Yeah,
Disruption stops the Invoker from going down.
Epicenter doing a lot of damage. Yol may fall in the end. He certainly will, but he sets up these kills. Nyx Assassin gets taken out. Centaur falls after the Shallow Grave expires. And Dazzle, he basically just gets cleaved down by the bouncing glaives. The entire team of Power Rangers get wiped up. There's your GG. And Rox.kis, they take a pretty convincing win, 26-17. Well played by Power Rangers, but Rox.kis just got the better of them in the mid-game, as we were talking about. And I don't know, man. I have to chalk a lot of that up to the Sand King. He did so much work. He made their lanes so much more efficient, got that fast Blink Dagger, and as soon as he did, the playmaker was just... I mean, the plays were nonstop. He was the playmaker. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He probably did the most work in the mid-game, but it also just comes back to the draft. We said at the very start of the game, Power Rangers needed to execute early. And the Sand King and the Shadow Demon also, I mean, which they picked this into, had a lot to do with preventing them from doing so. The disruptions, the burrow strikes, everything was on point from those guys to keep the carries from getting ganked and turn a lot of aggressive attempts from Power Rangers into counter kills.
Yeah. And you also mentioned that Centaur was kind of underleveled. They did a duo lane mid, the Dazzle Centaur, and they didn't really lose the mid lane, but they didn't really win either. Ended up being kind of a wash. The difference is that the Luna, who was also in a duo lane in the mid, was able to retreat into the jungle, find some farm, find some hero kills, and she caught right back up to where everyone else was in terms of experience. The Centaur, he got his Blink Dagger well timed, but his first gank was unsuccessful. Didn't get that experience boost there, and then by the time we were well into the mid game, Centaur was just underleveled. He ended that game level 11, and the lowest level on Rox.kis was Shadow Demon at 13. So that just shows you how far behind the Centaur fell. But just a best of one. Rox.kis now in good shape in the group standings. I believe that takes them now to 3-1. Yeah, I think so. And Roland, you messed it up. They're not 2-2. What do you do? Rox.kis, are they really 2-2 after that? Rox.kis were 1-2 coming into that game? Were they? I'm asking you. I don't have the standings. Well,
They should have been 2-1 according to.
they were 2-1, and you just made them 2-2. So they should be 3-1 now. Power Rangers was the team that lost. Were you watching that game, Roland? I'm so sorry. So anyway, that takes Power Rangers. Huh? Yeah. You always got to fire shots at the intern. So that makes Rox.kis. Huh? What?
I was just laughing.
Oh yeah. I don't have headphones on. You're on speakers that are under the desk. So sometimes if I'm talking and you talk over me, I'm a little like, I don't know what you're saying, Chris. I'm just gonna smile and nod. But that makes Rox.kis now 3-1, and it'll make Power Rangers 1-1. We have one more game coming up today: Power Rangers versus MYM. And here I think PR are probably the favorites going in, but we'll take a break and then more Dota 2 action coming your way. I'm Zayori. Joining me today is Hippie remotely, and we'll be back.